teacher down here again, hanging out actually for a minute, waiting for something. Anyway, so I promised I'd come back to talking about what happened at my school with administrative turnover. Now, that is an interesting story. I have got to reflecting actually about all of these turnovers I've seen in my career, and I got to be honest, there's been a lot. There's been a lot, and in the current school where I'm at, I'm gonna try and set this thing down here somewhere on like this tree, a tree here, some bark and stuff. I always try to give you an interesting video. Oh, it's a dumpster. There you go. That's it. Anyway, so current school where I'm at, principal who was in there when I started, she had built this image of herself as being this competent, smart, super like whatever, official kind of principal. She is full of shit. She's the one who my kid didn't even know, and she retired, went away. They hired some new guy in there. And actually, this guy was all right. He was an all right guy. He really was. He was, I think, a good principal. I think he would have been good if he'd stayed. He stayed 1 year. And I was the association representative that year. Means I was the union guy. I did that for 2 years. Then I quit. Because it was obvious the administration didn't want anything to do with the association. They didn't want to work with us. They didn't care about the union, whatever. But this guy, when he came in, I kind of like glommed on him like a life raft. I went, hey, I'd like to talk to you like maybe every couple of weeks. Maybe we could sit down and meet for a little bit. He was amenable to that. We did that. And it was maybe 2 months into his very short tenure in that building where he said to me in one of these little meetings, he's like, this is a really toxic building. It's really toxic. And I went, yeah, it is. You picking up on that. That's good. And he did what you do when you're a new principal in a building, which is you sit back and you kind of observe what's going on, right? You get a feel for it. You try to learn the building culture. You try to figure all that stuff out. That's what you do when you're new, all right? That's the right move. I mean, it really is. And they even teach you that in principal school. They do. So that's what he's doing. Hanging out, watching, trying to see what's going on. And he's like, yeah, this is a really toxic environment. And I was like, yeah, it is. And I worked with him throughout the course of that year. Long story short, by the end of that year, he quit. He left. Now, we're not talking about some difficult, challenging urban environment school. We're talking about a small mountain town school, right? Like my friend calls it, the country club. Really. I mean, it's almost all white kids. It's very easy to manage. It's not. You don't have over the top discipline issues. You don't have fights all the time. You don't have all that That stuff you deal with in the city. Right? And that's what he thought when he went there. He's thinking, I got myself a nice gig. And he should have been right. Really. Should have been. But as it turns out, previous principal left a mess for him. You know, she left a dumpster fire of a school. And because she was incompetent, didn't know what the hell she was doing. And she made the job really hard for herself when it should have been super easy. So he leaves. And at that point, my heart kind of sank. Because I was like, this guy would have been good. He'd been good to have. But he had come from a different district. He's trying to learn a new school district. He's trying to get acquainted with this new school. He just got married. It's kind of interesting because he's in his mid to late 40s, I guess. He just got married, got a house up in the mountain area, and then he was gone. And then circle back, the assistant principal becomes the interim principal now. My heart sank then too. I was like, oh shit. You know, that's where we're headed, isn't it? And that's how my district does it. They take people in these assistant principal positions, they put them in interim, they spend like a year there, and then they hire them permanent. That's what they do. That's what the district does. And unfortunately, a lot of the assistant principals we're talking about are not good at that job in the first place, let alone being principals, and they don't know what they're doing. And that indeed is what occurred. And so she gets hired as a principal in this building, and the whole thing just goes straight to hell in a handbasket. That's where it is now. It's where it will continue to be. It's a school that should be easy to run. It's a school that should be very successful, but it is not. And the reason it is not is because there ain't no leadership. Then the guy get hired on as assistant principal. Well, I'll get back to him later. Anyway, Teacher Dan, time's up. Signing off right now. See y'all later.